The approach to this retrospective is something that is perhaps interesting to talk about. Both the challenge and the fun part of working on this retrospective was the fact that the idea, the concept of found footage is something very, very elusive, right? Because if you think of it, found footage is basically everything that was made without a camera, which means that the opposite of found footage can be anything. It can be a short film, a long film, a comedy, fiction film, everything that's shot with a camera. So in this sense, found footage can also be everything. It can be a short film, a long film, it can be a fiction film, it can be a documentary, it can be an essay, it can be a horror film, it can be an experimental film. The other fun thing about found footage is that the term itself is so culturally conditioned. If you go, for example, to Hollywood or any other hub of commercial filmmaking and say found footage, the name itself became a synonym for a certain type of found footage. It's a synonym for fake found footage horror film, and it has been a synonym for the last 20 years, ever since Blair Witch Project was produced. If you ask an average Vienna cinephile what is found footage, they will instantly think about the type of cinema made by people like Gustav Deutsch or Peter Czerkassky, which is a specific type of experimental filmmaking. So in our approach to curating this show, we have decided that we will try to understand this concept of found footage in the broadest possible sense, meaning that anything goes, all possible and impossible cultural understandings of this term. So we have in this show short films, long films, fiction films, comedies, essays, documentary films, of course, a lot of experimental films, practically everything that can be loosely defined with found footage. And what we tried to do was we tried to find a certain position that would represent a certain approach within found footage. We did not strive for perfection, so obviously this is not a comprehensive overview, it's still a curated show, but still I would say that one of our primary goals was striving for a certain type of diversity which is really embedded in the very term found footage, that is, images which simply are recycled.